Nathan Cross enjoyed the kind of walking that challenged both body and mind. Not the casual ambling one might do in a park, but the deliberate trekking that tested endurance, where the terrain was unforgiving and the air thin. The rugged landscape of Proxima B7 was perfect for it. A stark expanse of jagged purple peaks and ochre-hued valleys stretching endlessly under the binary suns. Nathan, clad in the black tactical gear issued to all human security personnel in the outer colonies, looked like he belonged in such a place. The lightweight armor hugged his lean, muscular frame, and his short, messy blonde hair was streaked with sweat and dust. This morning's patrol had been uneventful, as was usually the case near the alien city of Kalataris. Its crystalline towers glistened like trapped starlight on the horizon. Nathan had purposefully chosen a route far from the city's distractions. Here, in the solitude of the mountains, he could think. He was mid-step over a patch of loose gravel when he heard it, a soft, plaintive sound, unmistakably a cry. Instinctively, his hand went to his sidearm. Years of training had instilled caution, but curiosity won over, urging him toward the sound. Rounding a massive rock formation, he froze. Sitting on a boulder, her head in her hands, was a humanoid alien woman. Her skin was a deep violet, shimmering faintly as though it absorbed and reflected the light of the suns. Her long, wavy purple hair spilled over her shoulders like a silk cascade. She wore a sleek black outfit that clung to her form, an exquisite mix of elegance and practicality. "Hey," Nathan called out, keeping his voice even but firm. "Are you okay?" The woman's head shot up, revealing wide, iridescent eyes that shimmered like opals. Surprise flickered across her face before giving way to relief. "Oh, thank the stars," she said, her voice lilting like a melody. "I thought I was doomed out here." Nathan approached cautiously, his eyes scanning for any signs of danger. "What happened?" "I got lost," she admitted, standing and brushing dust from her outfit. "I wanted to visit the famed Crystal Falls, but my navigation system failed. I've been wandering for hours." She gestured at the alien terrain. "Everything looks the same out here." Nathan suppressed a smile. "The Crystal Falls?" "I got lost," she admitted, standing and brushing dust from her outfit. "I was trying to find the Crystal Falls everyone talks about, but my navigation device malfunctioned. I've been wandering for hours, and everything out here looks the same." She gestured to the barren, alien landscape with a small, frustrated sigh. "I thought I could handle it, but clearly I was wrong." Nathan crossed his arms, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "The Crystal Falls, huh? You're a bit off track. They're north of the city, about 15 clicks in the opposite direction." Her shoulders slumped, and she placed a hand to her forehead. 15? No wonder I couldn't find my way back. My ship is docked in Kalataris, and I've been walking in circles. "Well, you're in luck," Nathan said, motioning toward the distant city skyline. "I know these mountains better than most. I can guide you back safely." Her face lit up with gratitude, and she extended a delicate hand. "Thank you. I'm Maia, cultural liaison for the Etherean Alliance." Nathan took her hand in his, her touch warmer than he expected. "Nathan Cross, human security contractor." "Nice to meet you, Nathan," Maia said with a small smile. "And I'll owe you big for this. Let's just get you out of here first," he replied, already plotting the safest route back to the city. "The terrain gets tricky, and these mountains aren't exactly friendly when the sun starts to set." Maia nodded, falling into step beside him as they began their journey back. Chapter 2. The Dust Storm and the Keycard. The trek back toward Kalataris started smoothly enough. Maia followed closely behind Nathan, her alien grace making her movements look effortless even as the terrain became more uneven. Nathan kept a steady pace, occasionally glancing over his shoulder to make sure she wasn't struggling. To his surprise, she was keeping up remarkably well. "So," Nathan began, his voice cutting through the quiet of the wilderness, "a cultural liaison? Huh? What does that actually involve?" Maia chuckled softly, her melodic voice carrying on the cool breeze. "Facilitating understanding between species, negotiating trade agreements, sometimes just convincing stubborn ambassadors that our differences aren't as vast as they think." Nathan smirked. "Sounds more peaceful than my line of work," Usually, yes, Maia admitted. But it's not without its dangers. Today is proof of that. She gestured at the rugged landscape. I didn't expect to get lost on what should have been a simple excursion. Nathan raised an eyebrow. You don't strike me as the type to wander off without a plan. I'm not, she said, her tone tinged with embarrassment. I was curious. Everyone talks about how breathtaking the Crystal Falls are. I thought I could handle a short hike to see them before my next assignment. She sighed. Clearly, I underestimated the mountains. Nathan glanced at the horizon. Dark, swirling shapes loomed in the distance, dust clouds, and they were growing larger. We'll need to pick up the pace, he said, his tone shifting to one of urgency. Those aren't just clouds. A dust storm's coming. Maia's iridescent eyes widened. How bad are we talking? Bad enough that you don't want to be caught out here when it hits. Proxima B7 storms can strip the paint off a ship, let alone tear through light fabric. In your outfit? He gave her a pointed look. It's not exactly stormproof. Maia arched an elegant eyebrow, her lips curving into a faint smirk. Are you criticizing my fashion choices, Nathan? Not at all, he replied with a grin. I'm just saying you might want to trade diplomacy for practicality next time you wander into alien wilderness. Their banter eased some of the tension as they quickened their pace. The rocky path grew steeper, and Nathan extended a hand to help Maia over loose gravel and narrow ledges. Despite her earlier predicament, she moved with surprising agility, her violet hair whipping in the rising wind. The storm loomed closer, its rust-colored wall stretching across the horizon like a living beast. Nathan glanced back at Maia. We're almost there, he assured her. The city's shield should protect us if we can make it in time. They reached the outskirts of Kalataris just as the first gusts of the storm swept through, kicking up stinging particles of dust. The city's shimmering dome-like shield was visible ahead, a technological marvel that cast iridescent light across the landscape. Nathan gestured toward the nearest gate, where a pair of guards stood ready to scan entrance. Hurry, he called, guiding Maia through the gate. The moment they stepped inside, the deafening roar of the wind cut off, replaced by the gentle hum of the city's environmental systems. Maia exhaled deeply, brushing the fine dust from her outfit. That, she said, turning to Nathan, was much closer than I would have liked. Welcome to Proxima B7, Nathan quipped. Home of picturesque views, dangerous storms, and lost tourists. Maia laughed, the sound light and genuine. I'll be sure to update the travel advisory. Nathan was about to reply when she reached into a small, sleek pouch on her belt and pulled out a rectangular object. It was a keycard, glossy black with intricate etchings that shimmered faintly in the artificial light. She held it out to him. What's this? Nathan asked, eyeing the card with curiosity. A thank you, Maia said. It's a high-priority access card for Kalataris. It grants entry to restricted areas, including the city's archives and certain off-world communication hubs. Nathan raised an eyebrow. Why are you giving this to me? Because I owe you, Maia said, her tone serious now. And because I have a feeling you'll find a use for it. Let's just say there's more to this city than meets the eye. Nathan hesitated, then took the card. It felt heavier than it looked, as though it carried some unspoken significance. You're full of surprises, Maia. She smiled enigmatically. You have no idea. As she turned to head toward the commercial district, Nathan couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the last time their paths would cross. He looked down at the card in his hand, its etched symbols catching the light, and felt a spark of anticipation. Whatever this keycard unlocked, it was bound to lead him somewhere interesting. Chapter 3. The Hidden Door. Nathan leaned against the side of a sleek crystalline structure near the main square of Kalataris, the keycard turning over and over in his gloved hand. The city's iridescent shield shimmered above him, a protective dome that kept the harsh elements of Proxima B7 at bay. Despite the storm now raging outside, the streets bustled with life. Humans, aliens, and hybrids all mingling in the glow of the city's crystalline spires. Maia's words replayed in his mind. There's more to this city than meets the eye. He didn't doubt it. Kalataris was a hub for trade, diplomacy, and research, but every major colony he'd worked on had its secrets. This card wasn't just a thank you. It was an invitation. Nathan had a choice. He could hand the card over to his superiors or find out for himself where it led. His instincts, honed through years as a security contractor, pushed him toward the latter. Something about Maia's enigmatic smile told him this wasn't a random token of gratitude. She meant for him to use it. Slipping the card into a secure pocket, Nathan pushed off the wall and headed toward the quieter outskirts of the city. If there was one thing he'd learned in his time working in alien territories, it was that the best secrets were always hidden away from the crowds. The keycard led him to a nondescript structure near the edge of the city's shield. Unlike the crystalline spires that dominated the skyline, this building was squat and utilitarian, its dull metallic exterior blending into the background. A single access panel was embedded beside a featureless door. Nathan glanced around. The area was quiet, with only a few passers-by who paid him no mind. Taking a breath, he slid the keycard into the panel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the panel lit up, displaying alien symbols that shifted into human-readable text. Access granted. The door slid open silently, revealing a dimly lit corridor that stretched deeper into the structure. Nathan's hand instinctively moved to the pistol holstered at his side. Whatever lay ahead, he wasn't taking any chances. The corridor was lined with smooth, black walls that glowed faintly, as if alive with energy. The air was cooler here, the hum of advanced machinery vibrating just beneath the surface. Nathan moved cautiously, his boots making barely a sound against the polished floor. After several turns, he came to a large circular chamber. In the center of the room stood a pedestal, its surface glowing with holographic projections. Strange alien symbols floated in the air, shifting and twisting as though alive. Around the edges of the room were several closed doors, each marked with similar glowing symbols. Nathan approached the pedestal, his curiosity outweighing his caution. As he got closer, the holograms shifted, rearranging themselves into something he recognized, a map. It was a detailed schematic of Kalataris, but there were areas marked on the map that he'd never seen before. Hidden tunnels, underground facilities, and even what appeared to be an enormous cavern beneath the city. "What the hell is this place?" he muttered, reaching out to touch one of the holographic symbols. Before his fingers could make contact, a soft, melodic voice echoed through the chamber. "I was wondering how long it would take you to find this." Nathan spun, his hand going to his pistol. Standing in the doorway was Maia, her violet skin shimmering faintly in the low light. She'd changed out of her earlier outfit and now wore a sleek, deep blue jumpsuit adorned with intricate silver patterns. She looked both elegant and entirely out of place in the stark surroundings. "You followed me?" Nathan asked, his voice tinged with both surprise and suspicion. "Not exactly," Maia replied, stepping into the room. "I've been monitoring your progress. I knew you'd be curious enough to use the card." Nathan frowned. "Care to explain what this place is?" Maia approached the pedestal, her fingers dancing over the holographic controls. The map shifted, zooming in on one of the hidden areas beneath the city. "This is a research facility," she said. "One the Coalition doesn't advertise. It's where they study anomalies." "Anomalies?" Nathan asked, his brow furrowing. "What kind of anomalies?" "The kind that don't follow the usual rules of physics or biology," Maia said, her tone serious. "Artifacts, creatures, sometimes even fragments of other realities. This city may look like a peaceful hub of trade and diplomacy, but beneath the surface, it's something else entirely." Nathan crossed his arms, his mind racing. "And you gave me access to this, why?" Maia turned to face him, her iridescent eyes gleaming with intensity. "Because I need your help. Something's gone wrong in one of the lower levels. The researchers have been evasive. I suspect they've uncovered something they can't control, and it's only a matter of time before it becomes a problem for the entire city." Nathan stared at her, his instincts screaming at him to walk away. He'd seen what happened when people messed with things they didn't understand. But at the same time, he couldn't ignore the spark of intrigue Maia had ignited. He didn't know why, but he trusted her. "What exactly are you asking me to do?" he asked finally. Maia smiled faintly, a mix of relief and determination. Come with me. There's something you need to see. Moments later, Nathan found himself descending a hidden elevator with Maia by his side. The air grew colder as they went deeper, the hum of machinery growing louder. Maia was quiet, her expression unreadable, but Nathan could sense the tension in her posture. When the elevator doors finally opened, Nathan stepped out into a massive underground chamber. The space was dominated by a towering, cylindrical structure that pulsed with an otherworldly blue light. Around its base, a team of researchers in protective suits worked frantically, their movements hurried and precise. "What is that?" Nathan asked, his voice low. Maia's gaze was fixed on the glowing structure. "We call it the core," she said. "It's not from this world, or any world we know. And it's waking up." Chapter 4. The Awakening Core. The underground chamber thrummed with an eerie, rhythmic pulse, as though the towering cylindrical structure at its center had a heartbeat. Nathan couldn't tear his eyes away from it. The core, as Maia had called it, was a thing of otherworldly beauty and menace. A smooth, metallic surface covered in glowing blue patterns that shifted and flowed like liquid light. Its energy radiated across the room, making the air feel charged, alive. "This thing doesn't look like it belongs anywhere near a city," Nathan muttered, his instincts screaming that whatever this was, it spelled trouble. "It doesn't," Maia replied, her voice quiet but firm. "The Coalition found it buried deep beneath Proxima B7 when they first colonized the planet. They built the city above it to mask its presence. Only a handful of people even know it exists." Nathan turned to her, his brow furrowed. "And yet here I am, standing in front of it. Why? What aren't you telling me?" Before Maia could answer, a figure in a protective suit approached. The suit was sleek and reinforced, its faceplate glowing faintly. The person inside was a human, an older man with a sharp, weathered face and a permanent scowl. "Aaron," he snapped, his gaze flicking briefly to Nathan. "I wasn't informed you'd be bringing guests." "Good to see you too, Dr. Varn," Maia replied, her tone icy. "Nathan Cross is here at my request. We need his expertise." Varn's eyes narrowed. "Expertise? He's a security contractor. What expertise could he possibly offer?" Nathan crossed his arms, stepping forward. "The kind that keeps people alive when things go sideways. And by the looks of this place, you're one accident away from a catastrophe." Varn scowled deeper, but said nothing, turning his attention back to Maia. "The core is becoming unstable. Its energy output has doubled in the past 24 hours, and the containment field is starting to degrade." "Unstable how?" Nathan asked, stepping closer to Maia. "The core's energy readings are spiking unpredictably," Varn said reluctantly. "We don't fully understand it, but we believe it's some kind of trans-dimensional artifact. It's leaking signals, or perhaps echoes from somewhere else." "Somewhere else?" Nathan repeated. "Like another planet?" Varn hesitated. "More like another reality. We've detected phenomena around the core that suggest it's a bridge, or maybe a doorway, to a place we can't comprehend. If it destabilizes further, there's no telling what could come through, or what could happen to this city." Nathan stared at him. "And you thought the best course of action was to keep this under wraps?" "Exactly," Varn said without hesitation. "Imagine the panic if word of this got out. The Coalition would shut us down, or worse, militarize it." Nathan sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "You scientists never learn. Poking things you don't understand and hoping it won't bite you." "Enough," Maia interrupted, stepping between the two men. "We don't have time for this. Dr. Varn, what's your plan to stabilize the core?" Varn hesitated again, his gaze shifting to the glowing structure. "We're working on recalibrating the containment field, but we're short on time. If the core's output continues to increase at this rate, we'll lose control within the next 6 hours. Then why are we standing here arguing?" Nathan said. "What do you need me to do?" Varn looked reluctant, but Maia stepped in. "The core's energy field is interfering with our systems. There's a manual override in the lower sublevel that can reinitialize the containment protocols. But it's dangerous. Nobody's gone near that area since the last energy surge. We're detecting distortions, anomalies in the sublevel. Let me guess, Nathan said dryly. You need someone stupidly brave to go down there and flip the switch. Maia's lips curved into a faint smile. I wouldn't have put it like that, but yes. I'll guide you through the process. We just need someone capable of handling themselves when something goes wrong. Nathan sighed, shaking his head. Fine. Lead the way. The elevator to the sublevel rattled slightly as it descended deeper into the earth. The further down they went, the colder it became, the air growing heavy with an unnatural stillness. Nathan stood tense, his hand resting on his holstered pistol. Maia stood beside him, her violet features illuminated by the faint glow of the emergency lighting. Anything I should know before we get down there? Nathan asked, breaking the silence. Just that you should expect the unexpected, Maia replied. The anomalies near the core don't behave in ways we understand. Sometimes they're harmless, shadows that don't move the way they should, sounds that seem to come from nowhere. Other times, she hesitated, her expression darkening. Other times, they're dangerous. Great, Nathan muttered. Anything else? Try not to touch anything, Maia said. The core's energy has a way of changing things. The elevator came to a halt with a jarring clang, and the doors slid open to reveal a dimly lit corridor. The walls here were covered in strange crystalline growths that pulsed faintly with the same blue light as the core. The air was frigid, and the hum of the machinery above was replaced by an eerie silence. Nathan stepped out first, his senses on high alert. The corridor stretched out before them, the flickering lights casting long, distorted shadows. As they moved, Nathan noticed the strange crystalline structures growing thicker along the walls, their glow brightening with each step. They reached a junction, and Maia pointed to the left. The manual override is through there. Nathan nodded and took the lead. The corridor opened into a larger chamber, where a console stood in the center, surrounded by more of the glowing crystals. The air here was even colder, and Nathan could feel the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end. As he approached the console, a low, rumbling sound echoed through the chamber. Nathan froze, his hand tightening on his pistol. Maia stepped up beside him, her eyes scanning the shadows. What was that? Nathan whispered. Before Maia could answer, the crystals around them flared brighter, and the rumble grew into a deafening roar. From the far end of the chamber, the shadows began to shift and coalesce, forming into a massive, writhing shape. It moved like liquid, its edges flickering and distorting as though it were only partially real. Nathan drew his pistol, his pulse racing. Tell me that's normal. Maia's voice was calm, but urgent. It's an anomaly. And no, it's not normal. The creature, or whatever it was, let out an otherworldly shriek and surged toward them. Nathan raised his weapon and fired, the shots echoing in the chamber. The bullets hit their mark, but seemed to pass through the creature as though it were made of smoke. Great, Nathan muttered, backing toward the console. Plan B? Get to the override, Maia said, drawing a sleek, alien-looking device from her belt. I'll distract it. Are you crazy? Nathan shouted. That thing's... Just go. Maia interrupted, firing a beam of crackling energy at the anomaly. The creature recoiled, its form distorting, but it quickly turned its attention to her. Nathan swore under his breath and sprinted for the console. Whatever this thing was, they had to shut it down and fast. Chapter 5. Closing the door. The anomaly surged, its shifting form rippling like ink in water. Nathan ducked as a tendril of shadow lashed out, slamming into the crystalline wall with a sharp crack. Maia stood her ground, firing precise bursts from her alien weapon, each strike causing the creature to flicker and writhe in pain. But it wasn't slowing down, it was adapting. Nathan reached the console, his fingers flying across the controls. The interface was a blend of human and alien design, with symbols and text shifting as if alive. The manual override was locked behind layers of security prompts, each one requiring more time than he had. Maia, he shouted, glancing over his shoulder. The anomaly loomed larger now, its form splitting into smaller, faster tendrils that darted around Maia like a pack of predators. I need more time. Work faster. Maia yelled back, dodging a strike that narrowly missed her shoulder. Her weapon hummed as she fired again, the energy beam slicing through one of the tendrils and reducing it to vapor. But the anomaly didn't seem to notice or care. It was learning, becoming more aggressive with every passing moment. Nathan's heart pounded as he bypassed another security layer. His mind raced. The core's energy signature was destabilizing, bleeding into the environment and twisting reality itself. If they didn't contain it, this chamber, and possibly the entire city, would be consumed. The console flashed red, an error message appearing in bold alien text. "Are you kidding me?" he muttered, slamming his hand against the screen. "Maia, I think it locked me out." Maia turned her head for a fraction of a second, her expression grim. "Then force it open. Use the keycard. It might bypass the system." Nathan's fingers fumbled for the keycard in his pocket. He slid it into a hidden slot on the console, and the system responded instantly. The symbols shifted, the error cleared, and a new prompt appeared. Manual override activated. "Warning. System reset imminent." "Got it?" Nathan shouted, slamming his palm onto the final activation panel. The chamber shuddered violently as the override took effect. A low, rising hum filled the air, and the crystalline structures around the room began to glow brighter, pulsing in time with the core's rhythm. The anomaly shrieked, its tendrils recoiling as though in pain. It turned away from Maia and toward the core, its form distorting wildly, as if being pulled apart. "What's happening?" Nathan called out, backing away from the console. "The core is restabilizing," Maia said, her weapon lowered but ready. "The override is resetting its energy output, cutting off whatever connection that thing had to this place." The anomaly let out one final, ear-splitting wail before it collapsed in on itself, imploding into a single point of darkness that blinked out of existence. The room fell silent, save for the steady hum of the core. Nathan leaned against the console, catching his breath. "That was too close." Maia approached, her weapon still in hand, but powered down. She surveyed the room, her expression both relieved and wary. "It's not over yet." Nathan raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "The thing's gone, the core's stable. For now," Maia interrupted. She gestured to the glowing core. "This was just the beginning. The core isn't just an artifact, it's a doorway. And whatever that anomaly was, it's proof that something on the other side knows we're here." Nathan stared at her, the weight of her words sinking in. "So what do we do about it?" Maia's iridescent eyes met his, her gaze steady. "We close the door. Permanently." The process of sealing the core took hours, with Nathan and Maia working alongside the research team to calibrate the containment field to its maximum capacity. By the time they were done, the core's once brilliant glow had dimmed, its energy output reduced to a faint hum. The doorway was shut for now. Nathan and Maia stood in the control chamber, watching as the last of the systems powered down. The room felt eerily quiet, the tension that had gripped them earlier now replaced by a heavy sense of finality. "So," Nathan said, breaking the silence, "does this mean your little secret stays buried?" "For now," Maia replied, her voice tinged with both relief and uncertainty. "But the core is a ticking time bomb. We bought ourselves some time, but the Coalition will have to make a decision sooner or later. Either we study it and risk another incident, or we destroy it and lose whatever knowledge it holds." Nathan nodded, his gaze fixed on the now dormant core. "If you ask me, some doors are better left closed." Maia turned to him, a small smile playing at her lips. "I'll keep that in mind." She extended a hand. "Thank you, Nathan, for everything. I couldn't have done this without you." He shook her hand, her grip firm and warm. "Anytime. Though next time, maybe warn me before throwing me into the deep end with a reality-warping alien artifact." Maia laughed softly, her melodic voice cutting through the stillness. "I'll do my best." As they made their way back to the surface, Nathan couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the end of his involvement with the core, or with Maia. There was something about her, something that pulled at him in a way he couldn't quite explain. He'd save her life, and in a way, she'd saved his. Whatever came next, he knew he'd face it head on. The elevator doors opened to the city's bright lights and bustling streets. The storm outside had passed, leaving the air crisp and clear under the twin suns. Nathan glanced at Maia as they stepped into the crowd. "So, what now?" he asked. Maia looked at him, her iridescent eyes sparkling. "Now, we wait, and we prepare." As the two of them disappeared into the throng of Kalataris, the core hummed faintly below, its secrets waiting to be uncovered, and its dangers waiting to awaken again.